Most speakers are trying to sell keynotes, and that is why people are saying no. Today I want to show you how we package the Culture Shift Tour so it's not just a keynote, and how we pitch it so that way decision makers feel like they have to say yes. If you don't know me, my name is Jared Scott. I have been a public speaker for the past 15 years. I've booked over 1,000 paid engagements. My wife and I run what we call the Culture Shift Tour, and we've worked with schools all across the country. One of the biggest reasons that what we do works is because of how we package it, and we present it to decision makers in a unique way. This video is not about hype, it's about structure. So, most speakers struggle with packaging because they sell a talk. They sell a keynote, they sell a time slot, they sell a performance. And decision makers aren't buying that ish. You know what I'm saying? Decision makers don't buy talks, they buy solutions, they have problems. If you offer something that sounds like a keynote, you've already lost the job. We live in a world right now where everybody and their mom thinks they're a speaker, a keynoter, or a workshopper, or whatever you want to call it. And everybody has a story and they think their story's so special and they're just pitching it like, if I come and talk, I'm going to save the world. But that's not true. You need to have a solution. We don't sell keynotes, we sell culture solutions. The Culture Shift Tour is a multi-touch experience, not a one-off moment. It doesn't have a time limit on its impact. At the highest level, what we include in our packaging is a keynote, but also a leadership breakout, also a staff engagement workshop, also a community parent night, and further support after the event to ensure that this change or impact will last a long period of time, well after the keynote is over. This immediately reframes the entire conversation with decision makers because they're always thinking, is this going to be worth it, right? And if there's a time frame on it, like a 45-minute talk, and you're trying to pitch it for $7,500, they're thinking, is this really going to make that much of a difference? But when we position this multi-touch experience, like I just explained to you, and show how the impact of this could last years, all of a sudden that $7,500 ain't so much, right? And we could package things all the way up to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and beyond. First things first, you need to lead with this. Lead with the problem. Most of y'all are leading with the price. You're leading with your credentials. You're leading with yourself. Just talking about you. We lead with the problem. We talk about student mental health, culture. We talk about disconnection, burnout, chronic absenteeism. We talk about the problems. We talk about the educators. We talk about the decision makers. We talk about what they're going through. We ask them thought-provoking, emotional questions. We get them talking, and then we elevate that pain momentarily and show them how important it is that we fix these problems. We don't pitch the Culture Shift Tour as a keynote or entertainment. We position it as support for those problems, as alignment with the solution for those problems, as reinforcement for what they're already doing about those problems, and most importantly, as a partnership, someone to hold their hand through these problems. Decision makers want to know these three things. Does this align with our values? Does this support our staff and our students? And does this give us impact beyond this day? Like, will we still be thinking about this next week, next month, next year? Will what we do here today and what we establish be a new foundation for a new beginning? Our package answers all of these questions. Of course it will. On calls, McKinsey doesn't sell. She walks decision makers through these three things. What are your staff and your students experiencing? What is your staff carrying because of those experiences? And where does this fit into your bigger picture, your goals, and your vision? She uses language like, this isn't meant to replace anything that you're already doing. It is meant to support it. That sentence alone lowers resistance. Showing them that you're not here to replace what they're already doing, the things that they've already spent time, effort, and money on, is a huge relief to them because it's not a waste anymore. Like, hey, look, what you're doing is great and I commend you for it. We're not here to replace that, we're here to enhance that. That matters, that's important. Make sure that you're establishing that with your decision makers. Because if you're not, and you're telling them all these things that you're going to do, they're thinking that you mean that you have the answers and what they're doing was wrong. And that makes them feel like failures. Most people don't want to be successful. They just want to not feel like failures. And you're making them feel like they're failing. You want to make them feel like they're already doing a great job and you're just going to help them do it better. All right, moving on. Why the community piece matters. I can't tell you how many speakers don't have a community piece to their package, and it's the most important part of what we do. Decision makers don't want an event that ends at the school. They want momentum that ripple effects out to the parents. Why? You know it, I know it, problems start at home. Kids are going through something at home, they bring it to school. We can only fix so many behaviors at school and they got to go back home to those environments and those behaviors. So including that support for the parents is the last piece of the puzzle. It makes everything feel complete. And that is what administrators are actually looking for, a holistic approach, a package. So how does this apply to your package? You don't need my package. You just need these principles, and you need to apply them to your package. Stop selling a talk. Start selling an outcome. When your offer feels thoughtful, structured, and aligned with their mission, it stops feeling like you're selling anybody anything and you're just aligning yourself with people. The reason the culture shift works, it isn't because of one speech. It's because of how it's packaged and it's because of how it's positioned, and that's the truth. If you want decision makers to say yes to what you do, make it easy for them to see how your work fits into their world, and that's how real partnerships are built. Recap real quick. You get a decision maker on a discovery call. You ask them thought-provoking, emotional questions about their problems. You elevate the pain of that problem momentarily to the point of urgency, and then you position your package as the solution to that problem. Bada boom, bada bing, you are done. Cha-ching. Cha-ching sounded bad there. It's not all about the money, you know that, but you gotta make income to make impact. And you wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't trying to get paid. So that's how you do it. Do it respectfully, do it responsibly, and I'll see you in the next video.